Okay, I have an opinion on this whole gay marriage equality issue. I've never understood why people don't think that they have equality. There's a difference between a marriage and a wedding ceremony, and nobody is saying that out loud. If you want to get married, we all have to do what? Go down to the courthouse, file the paperwork, and declare ourselves willing to do a romantic merger, if you will. And we're willing to combine our finances. We're willing to combine everything and become two halves of a whole. And then some people choose to take that a step further and say, you know what, we reserve the right not to have to get married in the courthouse, even though all the paperwork has to be filed there, because there's this thing called separation of church and state. So, although some people choose, if they're not particularly religious or agnostic, atheistic, whatever, they choose to get married in a courthouse. And then the religious people choose to have that manifestation with their religious beliefs as part of the ceremony that would be their wedding with their friends and family. So you have a marriage, and that's the binding contract by which in 5 years you'll be fighting over that ABBA CD that nobody ever wanted in the first place. You got it at a garage sale for 50 cents, and you'll turn into the War of the Roses, step out of the car, hon, right? And then there's this wedding ceremony. It's the same insipid, vacuous argument of Darwinism branding the Bible fraud. Well, I mean, everybody knows that there's not a talking snake. Everyone knows that there are parables, just like fairy tales were invented to scare the crap out of little kids. Like Little Red Riding Hood started out as Little Red Cap, and she was taking a flask of wine to her grandmother's house, and the cap was supposed to indicate maturation as far as she'd start her period. And the wine was something that she broke intentionally, hello virginity, hymen breaking, and all that red symbology, and she was led off the path intentionally. She did not listen to her mother and go straight there. Her mother warned her that bad shit could happen to you out in the woods, and bam, that's what happened. And then the whole impregnation manifestation with the grandmother and the huntsman, but we're getting way off topic. It goes back to, who says both can't be true with Darwinism and the Bible? We all know that the Bible was written after the fact and by a series of people who said, this is what I remember. That has nothing to do with a binding contract, separation of church and state, again. So, to me, gay people have had equal rights to get married this whole time. The problem the religious right have is the wedding ceremony part. They just don't want them in the church. Okay, fine. Then say, we don't want you in the church, and then wrap your little flags around that, and make your little human chain around your First Presbyterian, shed that you're stuck a cross on until you raise money to get some real walls around you. And let everybody just go to the courthouse instead. That way they're not stepping on your religious beliefs, because God is not involved in that courthouse. And it's a merger between two people's finances that don't have anything to do with you. It's kind of like if those people get a paper cut on their finger and you start screaming, it's not even your finger, it's that guy's and that guy's, or that chick's and that chick's. So they'll thank you to stay out of it. Plus, and I'm not sure if I'm ripping this off, so if I stole this from somebody, I'm so sorry. But this needs to be said, because if no one has said it yet, I mean, come on, I've always said that a key to a happy marriage is a duplex, right? Let them get married, right? Because after a while, they are going to, as Dolly Parton says, be as miserable as the rest of us are. But not only that, after a while, they're never going to have sex again. And that is really the only problem that religious people have, is it's the gay sex part. It's not it's the kissing and the what goes on behind closed doors. It's not the two guys who are just gardening next to each other 3 doors down. And, I mean, unless they're in, I don't know, hot pants. But I love the birdcage. At any rate, it's the gay sex that's really what gets people. And so everyone knows after you get married, you never have sex again. So problem solved. Go to the courthouse, fight over the church.